Hello, everybody. Welcome to the newly named, so I've switched from Mystical Mornings to Daily Downloads. And this is so that I can stop being stressed about the time of day in which I'm able to jump on here and do a live. So I've decided to rename it Daily Downloads. Welcome. I wanted to chat today about this idea that all of our questions that we have, that the information is within us. So often when I am guiding meditation, I will bring us into our interior world, into the inner castle, as I call it. And we go in through our heart and we find our sacred place that is within ourselves. And within that sacred place, we can sit with our own counsel, with our own, circle of guardians, and get the counsel, get the directions that we're looking for. And often what that is, even if you don't want to go into it that way, what I'm talking about is that mind, wisdom, is in every single cell of our body. Our mind is not in our brain. Our brain's there. But our mind is in every single cell of our body. And the other thing that is in every single cell of our body is the wisdom of our soul, our spirit. And I believe that when we have a question, when we have a need, a desire, that we can go inward to get those answers, to get a little more still and a little more quiet. And the more present we are in this moment, the more grounded, the more embodied, the easier it is for us to access those answers. The problem that most of us have now is that we are in an extraordinarily noisy world. And a noisy world where we have been taught to look outside of ourselves for everything. We are told if something's wrong with us that we need to go see a doctor. And don't get me wrong, because I have absolutely no problems with Western medicine, Eastern medicine, or anything else. But a lot of the times we forget about our intuition. And not talking about the fear, the little chicken little that sits inside there, that bottom left brain. But what I'm talking about is the intuition, the wisdom that we have access to. And when we have access to it, we have our own bioelectromagnetic field. Everybody has one. If you want to get woo-woo, we'll call it an aura. But we have our own bioelectromagnetic field. And this field is, each of our organs has one. Our heart has the largest, over 15 feet in diameter. It's being measured at when it's in a state of authenticity, of joy, of love. Our entire bioelectromagnetic field has been measured at over a mile. It's pretty freaking cool. And that's just based on the limitations of our tools that we measure with, not that that is how big our spirit really is. And so within that spirit, within that bioelectromagnetic field, we have a ton of information. We have the information, the wisdom from every experience we've ever had, not only our perception of it, but our ability to relook at it. So if you've ever gone back and relooked at something with fresh eyes, with a new perception, you can see that memory differently. And so it's a pretty powerful thing. Now, the question came up earlier this week. A friend said, it's too bad kids don't come with manuals. I was talking with a good friend going through teenagers, and I was really quiet for a moment, and I said, I think they do. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I think that when our children are in gestation, whether they're in our bodies or they're going to come to us later, so even if it's adoption or anything else, even if it is stepchildren, I believe that those children's, the information that we need on our roles in their life is deeply embedded within ourselves. And we have just been trained to go to parenting magazines and to specialists and child psychologists. All these things are great when we are busy and we are being pulled in 50 directions. However, I do believe deeply within me that we have everything that we need and that we have access to that information. And when we get really quiet and we get really present with our children, with the situation with our grandchildren, with our nieces and nephews, with each other, that the information that we need, the exact right thing to say, the exact right move to make, it's all there. It's just that we have been trained to go outside of ourselves. And our job is to come deeper and deeper within ourselves. There's this amazing book. It's called Hold On to Your Kids by Gordon Neufeld and Gabor Mate. And it was recommended to me when our oldest son was in high school by one of his teachers. And in the very beginning of the book, it says that they believe that the worst thing that ever happened to parents is parenting magazines. because it stopped us from trusting our intuition, and we started to look outside and see what is everybody else doing. What are the Joneses doing? What are the Smiths doing? What does that specialist say I should be doing? What is that, person that knows everything that we've suddenly given a license to, and they've got a bunch of letters behind their name. They don't know our child, but they know a general amount of it, and that's great. However, if we can get quiet, we can get rid of the noise, the static, we can start working on healing our wounds, we can get there even faster because we're clearing away the density that stops that information from being able to flow to the surface. I believe that we have an extraordinary amount of wisdom within us. I believe that we know exactly what we need. I believe that we know exactly what we need to do to heal when something's wrong, when something's off. And it's not that it means we have to do it on our own. I'm a big advocate of acupuncture, of reflexology, of EFT, of energy mastery, of a lot of craniosacral. I love energy work. And when it's necessary, I do believe that sometimes we need to go. It might mean that we need to take a medication. We might need a surgery. We might need these things, depending on how far things have gotten. But we know what we need when we go deeply within ourselves and we go beneath the fear. We go beyond the limiting thoughts, the limiting beliefs that we know better. And we get really tapped in. We can get every single piece of information that we need. We are far more powerful than we've ever been taught we are. And we are far more powerful than we even realize. And I think that the more that we can get quiet, the more that we can get still, even in those little moments. We're not talking about sitting down on a meditation mat for 2 hours. I'm talking about grounding into your body, sitting in a chair at the dining room table, closing your eyes for a minute and checking in. Where are your feet? Where are your hips? Doing a breath work, 5 minutes of tethering in. And we can really get access to all of the things that we need. And it's not for some of us. It's not for the gifted. It's not, those people are tapped in and I'm not. No, you are as precious and as special and as unique as everybody else. And you have that much wisdom available to you. And my wish for you today is to take a couple of moments to just get quiet. It's our Wisdom Wednesday. So just take a few moments and drop into your breath. Do a 4-8 breath, so inhaling for 4, exhaling for 8, so a relaxation breath, which will flip the nervous system into parasympathetic, which opens up our avenue for understanding. And so when we're breathing shallow, we go into sympathetic, we narrow our focus, and we're problem focused. When we go into parasympathetic, we extend that exhale, we move over into parasympathetic nervous system, which allows us to open and makes us available for solutions, to be able to see what's around us. It's not that what's there changes, it's just that we are able to notice it. I hope you guys have a magnificent day, and I hope this inspires some thought and some conversation, because you know what? You have absolutely everything that you need. You just need to check in with it again. I hope you have an amazing day. Brightest of blessings.